On the daily financial news this morning for August 10th, I gave a shout out to Jeff Bowman, a real estate agent broker in Houston, Texas. I want to talk about this thing. I want you to see what I see because I think it perfectly articulates what is going on in the housing market. And the man that shared it, the one and only Lance Lambert. How you doing, buddy?
Housing, housing, housing. And if my memory serves me right, I mean, this is something you called like 16 months ago, which is ice cold at the very top and a red fury fire at the bottom at that entry level. And it makes a lot of sense because when affordability gets deteriorated, what people who would buy at the top can do is they just can move their expectations. And I think that's exactly what we've seen. And we've also seen that while rents have decelerated, they've went up a lot over the past couple of years. And so people are feeling that burn from those increased rents. And
Yeah.
there's still kind of like that staggered rotation of where some buildings are kind of coming up to market price. So rents are rising more in some ways for specific groups of people than like the CPI numbers let on and then rent numbers let on. And so that increases that need for entry level would be buyers to get into the market. Uh,
Yeah, not only need and demand, but you can't forget the thing that you're putting out there so often. It's right is the supply side,
yeah,
right? Then you have that marginal demand get increased, but you also have a reduction in normal supply. It's just a powder keg. So again, shout out for the creation of the chart. I want to ask the audience. I have a lot of real estate agents that
well,
follow
can
me
I
and
can I
invest.
share it first?
Please, yeah, go for it. Actually, go ahead.
Okay, pulling it up here. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So Jeff Bowman, shout out to you. This chart, I believe if I was a real estate agent or a broker, I would do this for my market. Again, it is so powerful, right? Down the left-hand side, you have zip codes. I'm guessing area names, not my area, so don't know. And then left to right at the top is price points from cheapest to most expensive. And then they color code it based on data and active listings and all of those things. And again, yes, it's right. It's great to call something. It's great to call something early, but until you visualize it, you don't understand how just red hot it is at the bottom and ice cold it is at the top. So, what did you take from this?
Exactly what you said. It looks like the middle is the few places that have a little bit of imbalance and a little here, a little there. And then if you look at the lower price tiers, it's not just that they're sellers markets, they're strong. And you just see it here plain as day. And then you move up to the top, and it's not only going from imbalance to buyers, it's a lot of those very tops are strong buyers. Yeah, there's just not much inventory at the bottom, and now that you have those move up sellers really holding still because they don't want to lose that low rate, it just makes the acute pinch on the housing shortage at the bottom more prominent. And yeah, and that's also why builders are chasing that end. They're not chasing the top,
Exactly.
they're chasing the bottom. They're going after that entry level buyer
Yeah.
and figuring out what they can do and to get more of them, building smaller homes, decreasing lot size, cutting corners a little here and there because they know they don't need to get like the high end stuff as much. It's about getting those entry level buyers because there's just not much supply in the market out there.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. Again, I think this visualization is perfect. It sort of brings what we've been calling to life. I unfortunately don't have a lot of good news because I don't think the answer, I think Fannie Mae CEO put it out there kind of saying like, hey, I don't have any easy answers to solve housing. I think this trend, this reality that we are in where the bottom is super busy and the top is cold is going to be with us for a couple of more years. I just don't see how this the Fed broke the housing market, and the only way out of this is to have affordability sort of, grind better as wages go up. I don't have any easy answers.
Yeah, it's all the things that aren't sexy. It's builders moving a little bit more towards that bottom half of the market. They
Mm-hmm.
can't do it overnight. It takes time.
Yeah.
And it's just a grind in the market. If you keep rates higher, for longer, you might be able to start to, work up some of the inventory. But the things that are concerning are the fact that we've had this historic mortgage rate shock and we still don't have like any inventory. We're 47% down July 2023 versus July 2019. And so it's like, you know, if things were to warm up in any way and affordability was to improve quickly through rates coming down very fast, this red is going to be even redder.
Oh,
I
can
mean,
you imagine? What is there a nuclear red? I mean, I couldn't
yeah,
imagine if rates got below 6, it would be way unhealthy.
yeah, yeah. So it's not a healthy market.
Yeah. So again, there's a couple more things. If you are a real estate agent, real estate broker, or frankly, if you're an investor with a buy box, I challenge, I implore, I beg of you, do the same thing. Take your market, because everybody's market is different. Maybe the middle for you is 4 to 500, like Houston appears to be. Again, I don't pretend to know, but break them apart. Look for active listings, for pendings, available inventory, days on market. You can break this stuff down, and I think if we had this for like the top 50 markets, it would be eye-opening how similar they all are.
Yeah, and AEI Housing Center did an analysis, and I forgot to share it a month ago, that showed price appreciation this year based on price tier. And the bottom for the first 6 months of the year was up over 6.5% for prices. And
Wow.
the top was slightly down, or like it was like around 1%. So it's true nationally on an aggregated basis. And I know I've told you about a few different markets
Mhm.
that I've heard of places where it isn't quite the same. But then I dug deeper and I contacted more people in the markets, and they were like, no, in our
Yeah.
market, top it's the coldest, and the bottom is the warmest. And if you looked at the comments to this tweet, and if
Yeah.
people want to see it, search at News Lambert, you'll find my Twitter. A lot of agents were like, yep, this is exactly what I'm seeing all the time. And I would love to see this analysis for every zip code in the country.
Yeah.
It's really well done by Jeff Bullman.
Yeah. Jeff Bowman, shout out to you. Again, if you want to be buying and selling in Houston, he clearly is the guy to make it happen, because not many people take the time to do this. I'm sure it wasn't easy, but it is so valuable, and it just clearly articulates red hot at the bottom and ice cold at the top.
Yep.
Lance, how can people find all the amazing stuff you do? First off, if anybody's on my channel and they're not following News Lambert on Twitter or X, shame on you. Follow him today. But where can they find your articles?
Yeah. Well, one last thing before we leave,
Sure.
just another, little shout out for you. You called this like 16, 18 months ago, almost 2 years ago now at this point.
Yeah.
And that was even when people were really scared because rates were 3. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, we can't go to 5. All hell is going to break loose. And fast forward now, and we're at 7. The market stabilized and the
Yep.
bottom's red hot. So credit to you. And
Thank
if
you.
people want to find me, search at News Lambert on Twitter. They can find my Twitter, or in Google Lance Lambert Fortune to find my articles.
Folks, read his fortune articles. And Elena Botros, did I hopefully pronounce that correct?
Yes, and Sydney Lake, they're both on my team and report to me and write about real estate and housing. And they're always looking for real estate professionals, investors to talk to. So they're good people to follow too.
Yeah, so I've spoken with Elena. Maybe I need to speak with Sydney. I'd love to do that. But again, check out their articles. Elena just published one. I believe she did it with the Fannie Mae CEO I referenced earlier. It was a very well done article. So thank you so much.